As Coach Frederick mentioned, it's very easy to see his passion for Sulphur High, and as he's leaving, I know the high school on our side, the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade side, we never got a chance to actually hear him speak at his function. I thought tonight would be a great time for some of these guys that were under his coachmanship, and some of us coaches that work under just to hear his voice one more time as a leader. And we surely thank you for your service. I know there's not enough time here to say thank you for the town of Sulphur for your service, and congratulations. First off, I want to recognize our support people that helped throughout the year before we start our awards part. I'll try to get through this. There's a couple ladies that I want to thank first and foremost before we go any further with this program. Ms. Hollis Hassan, Ms. Amy Cargill, and Ms. Kelly Broussard. If you would please stand up. They're responsible for this beautiful facility tonight, and ladies, thank y'all so much. Just as soon as I walked in the doors and seen this arrangement, I just kind of stopped and took a deep breath and said, "Thank God, Coach Frederick and Coach Dufresne are in charge of this." Thank y'all very much. It's a very beautiful job. Next up, each game morning, we had a tour breakfast, and it was pretty much for the men that were a part of the travel team, whether it be home or away. And this next list of ladies is the ladies that kind of helped, and they set up the rooms and decorated each one of the facilities. And they probably got there at least an hour before the players. And you know, it's one of those things. It was new to me coming in as a new head coach here. And each time I leave there, the team breakfasts, listening to the guest speaker, is very much worth it, because it's good to hear another person's opinion of what's going on. And most of the time, it's a very religious and emotional type speech. And it's just what the boys need. It's just what the coaches need at that point in the week as you start in those final hours before a football game. And the ladies that helped us out again were Ms. Hollis Hassan, Ms. Amy Cargill, Kelly Broussard, Ms. KK Smith, Charlotte Thibodeau, Tammy and Lonnie Gothrop, Mr. Joe David, Ms. Joe David. So thank you, ladies. Me and y'all give these ladies another round. Read off our next list, and we can hold our applause for the very end. I have 15 or 20 names here and what they do for the program. A lot of you, it's one of those things, me and my wife talk about it all the time, and I find myself as I watch a football game, you know, sometimes you're like, God darn, why didn't they just throw the dang ball right there? You know, why didn't we give, you know, I'm the worst one. At an LSU game, I sit there and watch it. Boy, I want Leonard Fournette to carry the ball every time. I don't know about y'all, but me and Coach Miles have a difference of opinion on it. But anyway, then I start thinking about, well, man, you have no idea what it takes to get a ball game ready and to support these young men. And so this next list of names are all the people and all the different facets that get us to that point on Friday nights where, you know, the fan in you can take over. And you know, we don't have the time to spend to recognize them the way it should be done, but each year a lot of these people continue to help us, and from the bottom of our hearts, the coaches, the players, we want to say thank you. And these people are Mr. Rodney Trahan, our Booster Club president. This year, Ms. Hollis Hassan took over our program, senior signs and pictures, and that's a very big job. If you get a chance to tell Ms. Hollis thank you, man, y'all really need to do that, parents as well. Ms. Janet Tilley, our athletic secretary, Mr. Amos Welsh, our athletic maintenance, Ms. Tammy Bimmel, our athletic accountant, Mrs. Christy Seaford, Ms. Amy Weeks, Ms. Angie Monty in the front office assignment. You guys know how much they do for y'all, right? So next, the tour moms again, Mr. Clofi Boudreaux, Mr. Bruce Merchant with KZM Radio, Mr. Mel Estes and Jason Gully for our escorts. Ms. Jill Lockhart, she takes care of our parking passes, and you know, this morning I had college coaches in our office looking for transcripts and things like that on some of our players that are sitting here. And Ms. Jill, I know a lot of you know her really well. She'll drop a hat, and she went through that college coach and told her all the recruits for the last 15 years in Sulphur High and what they were good at and what they weren't good at. And she also, talked about our current players. And the program means a really lot to her, and she takes care of these young men. So if you ever get a chance to just tap her on the back and tell her thank you, it's well worth it. Ms. Jessica Wilford takes care of our season tickets. Mr. Chris Duncan, our mayor, is with us each week. It's wonderful. I know, I've been in this business since 1997 on the sidelines, and he's the first guy that shows up there on Friday night, and he's there at the end to shake our hands and be there with the guys. And not a lot of mayors do that. It's certainly very special to have him around. Mr. Neil Singleton's always there to take care of the guys when they'll get home. A lot of times, he's there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning taking care of the facility, and we really appreciate him. Mr. Mark Teal and Kyle Menier for game announcements. Mr. Larry Provost had a lightened up job this year. He does our field maintenance, but he takes care of the boys on a normal basis. Ms. Becky Fusilier for the coaches' meals in this wonderful meal tonight. Thank you, Ms. Becky. Mr. Jay Stelly provides the Saturday meals, a lot of the coaching gear and therapy for the boys. He's also a great help, and he's just right there across the street. There's many afternoons, have something busted up on him, and we just send him right into Jay's office, and he takes care of it. So it's nice to have that asset here at Sulphur. Miss Melanie Kratzer helps assign all the church breakfast schedules for us. Mr. Hanson is our clock operator, JV freshman. I don't know if we're going to be able to retain him in that current situation. We'll have to negotiate his contract a little bit. But now he's a board member. Ms. Connie LeBon, another counselor, she does all the eligibility monitoring for the kids and their grades. Mr. Charles Franklin takes care of our freshmen's maintenance and uniforms. And also Mr. Norman Farr and staff in this wonderful banquet setup. He's the one who takes care of all the chairs and things like that. And another thing, I don't know if everyone understands what Mr. Norman does for not only Sulphur football, but for Sulphur athletics. Under his director, he allows us to come in and work these baseball tournaments in the summer. And for the football team, what we use a lot of that money for is to send our football team to current camps, the McNeese camp, the Nichols camp, and the quarterback receiver camp in Arkansas. And we were able to send about 40-something campers this year to camp to specialize in their area. And all that was due to Mr. Norman Ford and the sport recreational system. And really important. It's a great asset for our football team. Ms. Trish Leger done all our team pictures and program covers. It's kind of a second job for her, and she's here tonight. She's everywhere with us, and it's just a wonderful thing. Last night I was at a funeral for one of my dear friends, and he was also a team photographer for us at Kinder for the 10 years I was there. And the priest was up talking about him, and he said, his name was Mr. Dennis. Said Mr. Dennis will live on forever in the hearts and minds of all these families in Kinder that he's touched over the years, because he thought a special moment was special enough just to snap that picture, and it was always a gift. And Miss Trish has given those gifts out to you young men. And I'll say this, moms and dads, if you see a picture out there that she has, get it and get it framed and keep it, because it may not be important today. It may be really important 15, 20 years from now. And she does a wonderful job for us. Thank you, Ms. Trish, for being there. And she's one of these ladies. I called her up, and 10 minutes later, we got what we need. And so thank you very much. Next couple of people we'd like to thank is Billy LeVar family for setting up the football auction and basketball auction this year. With their help and the students' help and the basketball team, we were able to raise a little over $80,000 for 3 programs to split, and that was a wonderful opportunity for our program as well. The next thing is the Sulphur Ford establishment. They sponsored our golf tournament, and that sponsorship is a little over $5,000, and what they do is they pay for the course that entire day, so that the green fees of the participants wind up coming right back into our pocket and football team. And if you've ever put on a golf tournament, the green fees are the most expensive thing of the tournament, and it allows us to make a great profit off of that and benefit our football program. So very much fortunate to have that asset as well here at Sulphur High School. Medical staff that helped us out this year, again, Mr. Jay Stelly, physical therapist, Mr. Jose Gonzalez, doctor, Mr. Jeff Collins, orthopedic surgeon, John Noble, orthopedic surgeon, Brett Cassio, orthopedic surgeon, and Mr. Rand Pitts, physical therapist. Like I said, I know there's not enough time to do diligence to the amount of support that these people give to you and what it means to us as the coaching staff and the players. But like I said, at the bottom of my heart, thank you. And this time I'd like to give all these people a round of applause. Okay, we'll start with some awards. Coach Dufresne, if you can come up and give me a hand. First thing we'll start off with is our second team offense and defensive awards, and then we'll go from there. On offense, this young man, he did a heck of a job for us, and you know, me and Coach Frelick, you know, we sit there and work plays over in the room upstairs, and you know, and it always seemed like, hey, you know, 3rd down and 2 or 3, let's run behind these 2 big guys, and let's get it done. And on second team offensive line this year, did an outstanding job, and pleasure to coach him, pleasure to watch him work in the off season in the weight room. Just gained a tremendous amount of strength over the last 2 years as I watched him grow up. Mr. Isaiah Moore. Second team on defense this year was a 3-year starter for us, and he was one of the guys that you know, when I first got the job, coaches talked a lot about him. Mr. Chris Bertrand. And then our next guy, Mr. Darian Gillard, defensive back. I don't know, is Darian here tonight? No. Another young man, he's a sophomore this year, played a lot as a freshman. As a sophomore, did a great job for us. And like I said, he was honored by the coaches in our district as second team defensive back. So let's give those guys a hand. Part of the combo on that left side, we'll go to the first team offensive awards. Hang on one second. I'm sorry about that. Also, second team, this guy grew up a lot, and I have a few more things to say about him a little later on tonight. Second team, all district wide receiver, Jordan Shagwell. I got a few more things tonight to talk about him a little later on in the program, so I don't want to steal the thunder. Moving on into first team, we had 4 guys on the first team offense this year, and well, I tell you what, we had a wonderful year on offense. It was one of the more exciting years for me as a coach that we've had. It was just a lot of outstanding individual efforts, and sometimes, but most of all, it was a team effort, and you could see it building as the course of the year went on. And if you had a chance to kind of watch the highlight film, you can kind of see them get faster and faster at their jobs as the year went on. But you know, if it's 3rd down and 2 again tonight, you know, we're gonna get on the line of scrimmage, and like I said, we would probably call, for you parents, we'd probably call Lasso South Pit. I know the players know what that means, and what that means is we're gonna run the ball right up behind Sean Lawson and Big Isaiah and pull set to sell and get Nelson in there, lead block, and just hand the ball off to Derek Gillard and try to find 2 yards. So, and start with a good snap, I said. So, first team, offensive line, Mr. Sean Lawson. Come on, next guy I'd like to talk about, I first come on to the coaching staff here at Sulphur High, was a wide receiver, defensive back sometimes, kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. But most importantly, this guy's a great young man, great character, and he just kept working at things. He was given a special talent by God to be a good punter. And one of the things we talk about all the time, and parents, if you don't know me yet, you're not really familiar with what I like to do and what my concept is as a student athlete, things like that. I really, really want your children and these young men to play two sports. I really want them to do football and something else. I think if they coach year-round and they under that team discipline year-round, that's what they really need in the course of a life. Because in real life, you need your discipline every day. There's no season for a certain amount of discipline. And I think in high school, if they're under a team leadership and discipline, things work out a little bit better for them as they get older, and they understand that, hey, you know what? Coach Wainwright has a set of rules, and those rules are important to him, so he keeps them. Coach Trahan has a certain amount of rules that's important to him, and he keeps them. Coach Backman has a certain amount of rules of track, and he keeps them. Coach Skip has a certain amount of rules in basketball. It's important to him, and he keeps them. And me and this young man had a long talk one afternoon. I said, Jake, man, God give you a gift, and you're the best punter in Sulphur High right now. And it would be a shame for the community if you don't go out there and represent our football team. And he come to me and said, Coach, man, I really love baseball. Baseball is what I want to do right now. And I don't know if I can put in the time to be a wide receiver or a defensive back. I said, Jake, you don't have to do that, man. You're against punt. Take that, and we'll work with it. And between his busy schedule and doing a lot of other things, he was able to get good at his craft. And I really believe if these kids do things and work with each other and the community works together, and the outcome, we're going to have results like this. So first team punter, Mr. Jake Smith. Now this next guy has a very similar story. First got here, he had a shoulder injury. Couldn't play football. Wanted to play football. Got the shoulder injury fixed up. Got injured at the end of last year's baseball season. Didn't look like he was going to get to play football for us. I think it was through a lot of thorough recruiting from our seniors. And just a good old-fashioned, man, I'm about to miss the last chance. And Mr. Austin Nelson comes up to us, and I want to say it was the Monday or the Friday before the Jamboree at McNeese, and wanted on the team. And I had a meeting with our champion leaders, and we talked about it. And all 10 of those champion leaders were dead set on letting him come on the football team. We had a little talk in the coach's office about it, and said, he's 18 years old. Let's take a chance with him. But we're going to give him a little running to do, and to see if he really likes football, or if he's maybe just having a strong emotional moment. And so I think his punishment or makeup work was maybe in the 30 or so miles, 36 miles he had to run, and 2 or 3 marine challenges to do in a week or so's time. And by the end of the week, he was eligible to dress, and he showed that, hey, you know what, Coach, this is really what I want to do. My heart's into it. I want to be here on this team. And there was no guarantee of any particular position when we signed this contract. And within a week or two, he became our starting H-back. And this year, he made all-district tight end, one-year football player, and beat out an LSU commit to get that position, Mr. Austin Nelson. Next young man, I'll tell you what kind of good coach I am. First month I was here, I kicked him off the football team. Put him on the rehab team. You remember that, Derek? I'll let that go, but what the rehab team is when we don't see eye to eye, I see you in the afternoons after school, and we decide what your emotional strength is to play in football. And I guess after Derek realized that I was pretty hard-headed, and he's kind of hard-headed, we decided to be friends after that. And the rest of the coaches in the district were real mad at us when we decided to put him at tailback. But I'll talk to you about some of the things that happened last year. Miss Hollis Hassan was our offensive coordinator for the spring football game. You remember that, Miss Hollis? And I was down on the field, and she just constantly was attacking through the air, and I was like, Miss Hollis, we need to run the ball a couple times. But make a long story short, I was able to get on the field in a game situation and stand behind the quarterbacks, and we called a stretch play off the right hand side, and Derek made a couple of cuts in there, and they were really electric. And at that time, I remember telling her and the other people who were on the headset, I was like, man, that was a really good cut. Something in there special, and it might have been hard to see from up in the air. I don't know if I'd have seen it from the sidelines. And there was something, that we were hoping that maybe that little spark would catch on and start a fire later on in the year. And I guess it was after the Jamboree night we decided to go ahead and give him the ball. And like I said, my philosophy is a little different than Coach Miles. I like to give our tailback a chance to get used to the game. And I had a reporter ask me after the first game, he's like, Mr. Guillory had 39 carries, Coach. Do you think he can carry the ball like that the rest of the season, or this, that, and the other? And I said, well, I'll tell you what, he'd have had 40 or 45 carries if we'd have got another possession. So, he was a heck of a back for us. I'm going to read you some of the numbers, and they're quite astounding when you start thinking about it was his first year playing tailback in a first-year system with the offensive line. And first off, it was a single-season rushing record for the school for a football program that began in 1930. So it's quite an accomplishment just right there in itself. The previous record was around a little over 1,400 yards by Mr. Jimmy Ledoux. I think it was 1964, 1968 when that record was set. Derek's single-season record through 10 games was 2,021 yards, rushing yards, from the line of scrimmage. In the playoff game, amassed another 207 yards that night, which gave him a grand total for the season, just rushing 2,228 yards. Congratulations. His all-purpose yards, during the course of the season, he had 100 yards receiving. Kick return, he had 282 yards. So all total is grand total yardage from line of scrimmage or through a catch, 2,610 yards. Congratulations, Derek. Derek was a unanimous vote at the coaches' all-district meeting, not only for all-district running back. What happens at all-district meeting is the coach, you nominate the player, and then the other coaches in the room from the other schools have to vote on whether or not they choose or not choose to vote for your player as all-district. And all the other head coaches in the district voted him unanimously as running back, as well as district MVP. So as another award. One of the things we have special here for Derek, just because it was a school record this year, and we want to present him with this, has some of his other accomplishments in it. All Southwest Big School offensive MVP, all district running back 3-5A offensive MVP, Big School all Southwest running back, all state honorable mention running back, and it's a couple poses right here for Mr. Derek. So let's give Derek a round of applause. Miss Trish, I'm going to let you get one picture of all these guys together, and then